meeting to order at 2 minutes past 5. I'm at a meeting. How come there's two Karen Howards for 3,400 even amount?
One's for 3,000, one's for 3,040, one's for 3,400. Should be. Are they both 3,400?
No. Okay, yeah, 3,000. Oh yeah, 2 different projects. Who's doing the backflow testing now, Wayne?
Well, it's still Sarian, but they have, I forget the girl's name.
Different people than we had years ago.
Well, it's not, Richard Wiles, he retired. No, it's still Sarian Company, it's just,
Different retired people from DEP.
yeah, oh yeah.
A lot of bills this month, but small ones.
Cindy Mark.
Eric,
Mm-hmm,
the Lowe's bill
mm-hmm.
says the balance is $214.14, you already had a credit.
We have to pay what we use for the month. If you see in parentheses, it's pay as you go. It's not like, so there's, it's like 300 or 300.
Looks like it's $838.47, then it
Yeah.
says unapplied payments $624,
It's-
balance due $214.
Right, but the receipts that are attached equal the amount on the front, whatever it is. Because it's bill on each side. It's on each sheet, and then it's on each sheet. That's what's owed. All the receipts are attached on the back, it should be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are.
The way they do it is different than like your regular, bill. Because of the type of card we have. That's how it is every month.
Yeah, just maybe because of the amount I go with the
Yeah.
time.
Anybody have a chance to read the minutes?
Yep, one sec.
Do I hear a motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Tom, can I continue on with the meeting while you sign the
Yep.
bills? or-
Yep.
Okay. Wayne, how's the replacement lot coming?
So the screen design came in, the engineering firm changed it, they added more length to it, so it's out for manufacture. So that's what we're waiting on. Once the screen comes in, they'll install it, put it in place, they'll do the pump test, and then they can pick out, select the pump. After that, then they can select the variable frequency drives to match it, and we can continue on.
Did he give you a lead time for the screen?
No, they haven't given me anything. I just know it happened a couple of weeks ago. I sent them an email asking, that I hoped that they weren't waiting on us, and they said no, that they had changed the design a little bit. But
What did they change on it, Wayne?
they lengthened it.
Was it stainless?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, they're all stainless.
yeah, they, but they didn't send me an updated print on what they changed. I
Is
just know
there-
that they lengthened it.
Are there different sections with different diameters in
believe
it, or
that's-
is it pretty much the same?
No, I believe there's different sections.
Yeah, sometimes they're, they could be 10 or 15 feet long, the screen, and then you'll see really fine, and then you see real coarse, and then you go back to fine because of the layers.
On the screen?
Yeah. Yeah, they're
I
special.
like the long one.
I don't know how they do it because they must wind that stuff around. It's pretty cool when you get them and you see them. It's all according to the coarseness or the fineness of the soils around it.
Right, most of our soils were pretty fine out there.
Pretty
Yeah.
fine on that one.
That's why I was wondering if they were real fine all the way. Any update on the new water source at all?
No, I haven't heard anything from Carter and Howard on that one.
No. And we got a different person now, engineering with us?
Well, they seem to float. I mean, the main contact is James Hoyt. And then after that, I see a variety of engineers. Or I get emails from a variety of them.
Huh. Are you comfortable with the way things are going with it?
I mean, I don't know. I look at what they're doing with the asset management and the amount of time that I think that they're putting in and the amount that we're being charged. I don't think it's equal. I mean, I know that they have a firm and they've got to keep it going. They have to make X amount.
But they gotta get the job done, with the money we got. We can't let them milk us and then not get the asset management done.
Right. I believe they'll finish it. It's just, I think it's not a front burner project for them.
The summary that they gave you, have you seen
Yeah.
any of the stuff that?
Yeah, no,
They're
I've
talking
seen
about, haven't done the recommended improvements, cost estimates on water main replacements. Have you seen any of that?
So they haven't sent us the cost estimates yet. I mean, they sent us estimates, and I'm waiting to see the cost estimates because it's too bad they're not incorporating some of the other stuff, but yeah, we'll see. And it's most of the pinch points that we already know. I'll print out for the next one. They gave me one where they, like South Elm, it's a dead-end main, so they call that a critical infrastructure because if it breaks between anywhere after River Street, you shut down everybody. And then you have to wait for repair to get them more water. There's no other source available. So they look at things like that and then the age of the mains and stuff. A lot of our mains in town, well, they're older, but it's like every other town.
But you have actually seen some of them.
I've seen some of the stuff, yes.
So it is that they are actually doing it.
Yeah, no, they are doing stuff. But a lot of it's computer generated, and I don't always,
Trust me.
right.
Well, that's what the review process is for too, though, when we get this stuff to take a look and see. if
Right.
it's-
What do you think, if we get our money's worth on that one?
We'll see when we start seeing some deliverable. And that's why I asked about, if they actually given Wayne some of the stuff they're telling them that we get. So when we see it, we'll. You have to do it.
Right.
It's not like it's something.
No, the DEP's pushing so that you're supposed to be fully funded for everything, but you can't, when they cut back on the water and you're not allowed to sell water, well then how are you supposed to make revenue? You can't jack up the rate so high.
They don't care.
I know they don't. Well, let them tell the people then that their rates are going up, and let them stand at town meetings and take the phone calls.
Well, they'll say they
That's
don't
not
have to
part
do
of their
that
job.
I know, they get the easy part. They just have to throw rocks at us, and then we get to get rocks back from the residents.
It's the way it's always been. About the new hire.
The last I know she's intent on trying to, because the town meeting's coming up in May, so I know she's trying to finalize the article, so I haven't heard back. I know at first she said nobody had responded, so I haven't probed her again, and I spoke with her today, but it was more to do with the articles.
Yeah, I saw that, she sent an email a week ago or so.
Right.
She was still waiting for people to get back to her with their additional information.
Yeah. When I went through most of them, I mean, I was pretty explicit in what I asked for, and none of them followed directions. And part of what we do is you really need to follow directions.
Yeah. about the generator?
So they came with the parts today, but part of his thing is to start it before he began, and it wouldn't start. So it's backfiring. It's natural gas, because I was almost gonna wonder if I shouldn't wait outside in the parking lot. So they have another tech coming to look. There's a timing thing on it, and it was beyond the tech that was here to mess with the timing. So it almost sounds like the timing, it would catch, but then it would backfire very loudly and die. So he didn't do the repairs. We're waiting on the other tech to come out to look at that. But I know when he was doing the load test, I could hear him put it under load, and then you'd hear the thing like groan and grind down to it to stop. I don't know why that would affect the timing, but I kind of pressed backward and I'm like, the thing was running, what happened?
You could better get somebody out here that knows what they're doing.
Right.
The timing technician.
Well, the kid that's here, he's really knowledgeable, that's why I was surprised, but he didn't want to mess with the timing in it. He pointed to the device, which means nothing. It doesn't look like a distributor cap to me. The old ones, you just pull it off and rotate it until you could see the spark happening and you could hear how the car's running.
No, at least he knew enough not to mess with it if he didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
So, what about the Walnut Street tank?
So we have we've begun running the pipe, and that's when the weather went the other way. Now it's come back again, so after we get past this week is April vacation for those of you that have little kids, and I'm looking at you, and I'm thinking, well, maybe you see the grandkids.
So a lot of times, okay, I don't worry about that.
Yeah, so I have guys out. We're gonna flush Copeland Street tomorrow during the day, because I have guys out, so it's easier. I'm just gonna do it during the day, and we'll try to bleed off all the areas, so I get that done. But she said her water quality, so her water quality went south about the time Walnut Street tank came along, and I hadn't mentioned anything that Walnut Street tank was offline, but she says it's gotten better suddenly, but I mean, she'll have a yellow spurt here or there. During the last meeting, she said it ran yellow and she was gonna come down, but by the time she did it, we were already gone. But she said for the most part, it's been good lately. I'm like, oh, we'll take care of that.
Now, who is this?
That's, can't think of that name, but it's.
A1 there?
Yeah, John and,
So you haven't done any flushing up there yet?
not yet.
You're planning to start tomorrow?
Yep, so we're just gonna do it tomorrow, and then we'll go around and bleed off all the areas. The only street that I worry about is the top one, I can't think of the name of it, but it doesn't have a hydrant on the end of it, so I can't run it.
Shaw Ave?
Yeah, I think it's that one. That's the one that's almost up into Brockton. Yeah, there's no hydrant down the end. But I'll go in and knock on doors and see how they're doing. But I'm gonna run it until it's clean, and then we'll slow it down to low flow to make sure we're pulling clean. But I'll have the pumps on so that we're not drawing just from the tank. I wanna make sure I grab it from everywhere I can so I disrupt very little. Part of what we're pumping out of Station 2 now, or Norman Ave, and that's high in iron. We're sequestering it, but remember, we're putting out iron into the system. And it's sequestered, but as it ages out, the sequestering bond breaks down too. Right now, we're running right around in the 500,000 gallons a day.
Oh, that's what we're pumping.
Yeah.
Putting out.
I mean, it goes down to the upper fours, and it goes into the lower sixes, but the average is right in like the mid fives. So nobody's turned on anything, nobody's really using water yet, luckily. But I'm not looking forward to the summer because we have one source. Plus Manly, so we've been really prepping Manly. I'm making sure I've got all my spare parts. If something dies in there, I've got parts that right away to bring it back, because without it, we're not gonna, I need the two things together, or we won't make, we
It's
won't be
looking
able
like
to
it's
handle
gonna
it.
be dry at this point.
Yeah, it's not looking
Yeah,
like
no, we're gonna get rain tomorrow, and then I don't think we get rain again until like Sunday. and the ground's still dry anyway, so whatever rain we get, if you get 2 inches of rain in a short time, most of it all runs off anyways, it doesn't soak in. Maybe a good time to use all my vacation time in that one big slug right in the middle of it. I think that covers most of that. So discussion only. At some point, you guys have to sign our contracts, because currently they list us for raises. So I redid them with the numbers. I just printed the first 2 pages, because those are the only things that are actually changing.
When is the annual town meeting?
It's May. If I go in, I can tell you, but it's like mid-May, I think.
Did I hear we're having a special town meeting?
I didn't hear about that, but don't they usually hold one in advance of the regular?
Well, that's what I mean, like 10 minutes before, but,
I haven't heard anything like that, but
I heard that there, and I was wondering why they would be holding a special town meeting when the annual town meeting is here.
right, I know there's a reason they do it, I forget why, but I don't hear.
Well, you have to pass, you've got to cover the budget. If you had shortfalls, you have to do it before the town meeting,
Right,
because you're working with last year's money,
right.
and you have to straighten that out first. But I have heard that we're having a special town meeting on in that industrial park up on Lincoln Street. They want to.
I know they're moving along with their engineering work, they're not, he's moving, their surveyor's been out.
Well, I heard that the town wants to give them a tax break.
That's not
They're
uncommon
going to a
for,
special town meeting.
and that's,
Somebody told me. I don't
that's
know
not
if it's true.
uncommon for companies, I think that's why Horizon Beverage left, because the town wouldn't give them a tip. Most towns give them like a 10-year tip to be here. I mean, if you look at his warehouse down, it's the same thing in Bridgewater, the thing's empty, the gates are locked. There's not a soul in it.
Never gone in there yet.
All I know is they wiped out all those blueberry bushes.
Yep. But the other thing with that is, so when they voted for that thing to go in at that night of the presentation, they were
Yeah.
talking about all that highway work
Right.
on 106. None of that apparently is going to happen.
Yeah, I think and I don't think he's gonna do anything until they get that, but I thought that they said that that's not uncommon to be turned down the first time, that it sometimes takes a couple of times before you get the state to kick in.
But you know, that's a county road. Why are we taxpayers giving somebody a tax break to do the road construction that the county should be doing? It's not, 106 is a county road. Route 28 is a state road. We don't,
Right, but I think
We
they
shouldn't be
applied
paying
to the
for that.
state for a grant for it.
Yeah, the idea was that was going to get done in conjunction with his project because of all the extra traffic.
Right.
That if they can't get the money to do it, that doesn't get done, and you still get all the traffic.
Right.
yeah, well, if he's gonna build it, he's gotta, I mean, when somebody builds a subdivision with 15 houses in it, and we tell them they gotta run the water, if they don't have sufficient water to the project, they gotta bring the water over. We don't do it for them.
No, but we can't, I don't think we can tell him he has to put lights on Route 106 either.
No, you can't, right, so we're getting something out, the town's getting something out of it. They need something there because it's a traffic nightmare from about 1:30 on. And then it's just as bad trying to get out. You don't know what time of day when you go to get out on 106 and get to the highway, suddenly
But you go
it's all backed
down,
up all the way through.
if you go down toward Plymouth and you work your way up 106, they
Yeah.
widened it, they built stone walls, they
Right.
put lights, they've done all kinds of intersections.
Right,
They fixed all the way up. You get up to 24 and they haven't done anything.
no, it's,
And so it bottlenecks up here, right, you know.
right,
So, the county needs to do it. Why should ratepayers be paying for it, you know?
well, it's not, he's looking for a grant from the state to do it, for the state to pay for it. I mean, they kept saying no to the things going in beside Honeydew, and now we've got a 40B going in there that you really don't want, and the other things were more desirable, but they kept saying no to them. This guy, it's just a warehouse, it'll have trucks that are gonna go right there, they're not gonna be passing through town, so It might be better than what could come. That field looks all high and dry to me.
Well, that's the way the town originally laid out Manley Street to work, is that
Right. for
all the
industrial.
industrial trucks were on the other side of Route 24,
Yeah,
and we didn't have them coming through
right.
the community. They were getting on 24 and going places. You know, heading down toward 495 and going up north toward Boston.
I myself can't see, I mean, he's spending money already, and he's building a warehouse when he hasn't even built his other warehouse. I don't get it, but then I don't have any money, so.
They spend the money and they don't build the place, they just deduct that off their, it's all
Right.
the taxes and everything else.
At the other end.
I just was looking, I didn't see anything about a special town meeting, town calendar.
Okay.
They didn't have-
Somebody told me that, and I was like, why would we be doing that?
I haven't heard anything, and usually they'll at least ask me if I have anything
Yeah.
for.
Unless they thought it was gonna be a lot more discussion than what we had time for at the annual town meeting. So what'd you say the annual was? May?
Sorry, 25th.
It might, yeah.
It's the same night as
Our meeting.
our meeting.
Yeah, it
I
is.
think it's May 19th, hold on, I'll tell you in 1 second. 17th, it's the 17th.
So we still gotta meet and then head over there?
Well, that's what you've done in the past.
Yeah. It starts at 6.
Okay. It starts at 6?
That's what it said on the town.
Yeah, no, it's earlier than, yeah.
Really, it doesn't start at 7?
So
No.
it's May 25th on a Tuesday
No,
night?
May 17th at 6.
May 17th is
Yep.
town meeting.
Yeah,
Town
don't go
meeting
by the
and town meeting.
25th, I don't know where it came up with that.
So that's a Monday night?
Yes.
All right, so we still gotta meet, we'll just have an hour to sign bills and do a thing.
Well, not even, because you want to get there before they start.
Right.
So maybe just you have to come in, sign warrants and stuff, and
Or I can bring them there if you don't want to be there.
Well, just don't put a lot on the agenda, that's all. Don't tell people to come that night. We're gonna have to just sign bills and get out of here.
Okay.
anything, leak detection, you get back from anybody else?
I did, so I kept harping on the guy who comes highly recommended. I think he went out of business. So I did, he sent my things to another guy who I know some, so I'll call the other towns and see how they made up with this company. It's, I think it was like $8,900.
Yeah, the prices you talked about were
Right.
fine. You were gonna get any other responses.
Right. And then the other companies, I mean, I emailed about 8 of them and none of them would respond. But I'll call the meter guy, because he had one other company that he had heard good things about too. So I can at least get a second quote. But I mean, we're doing some costs, 95% of all leaks don't surface, which,
What percent?
95%.
The leaks don't service?
Yep. The big water main breaks, they surface, because they're big, except for the one where the sprinkler thing went.
Well, the surface, we couldn't tell because it surfaced in the swamp over
Yeah.
there.
That's why David, he went by, because I had told him how much water we had lost when the snowplow operator hit the hydrant, and he goes, I went there and I didn't see any water. Well, it wouldn't, it sucks it all up.
Yeah.
You didn't happen to notice the stream right there, did you? So, in discussion, like I said, you guys have to sign our contracts, because currently they're still slated for a raise. So I just printed out the top 2 pages of them. If you like what you see, then I'll send it off to David to just look it over.
So is this did you put raises in?
Not this year. This year I removed them.
You removed them?
Because of what?
And none of the other employees,
As far as I know, everybody took zeros. I think, the last I heard, maybe the teachers haven't signed, but,
I was just gonna ask you that, because I heard the same thing.
right, and that they're fighting it.
Who hadn't signed?
The teachers. But every other department did. Truly, I can understand, you go to the grocery store now, and it costs a lot more money. It's not cheap anymore. Because I used to watch, it would tally you, and if you look at it, you can see the amount of items. Used to be like $1, now it's two, it was two, now it's close to $3 an item. When you do the average, it's like, you can't win.
No, they're going up, everything is. Just don't try to buy lumber.
No, that's even worse. I can't understand why people are even building houses right now. They should be standing down and waiting it out. I've heard it's astronomical.
they say that they're back to full speed making lumber and they can't keep up. I read that the other day. They were back before the virus broke out to the same amount of lumber, and they said that lumber is in such demand. That's why the price isn't going down at all.
Yeah, because it's way up, I've heard.
No, yeah, I think a 2x4, they said was $7.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It wouldn't be so bad if you could find a straight one once in a while.
Yeah, it's fun going to Lowe's and
Yeah, but when you're trying to frame a house, geez, you go through a lot of them. That's why they say the existing houses are selling for so much, because you can't afford to build a new one. Right. Prices on the existing houses have gone way up.
well, there weren't that many houses come to market. And the ones that look less desirable held for a few weeks, but even they've sold now.
It's kind of weird.
Go back to the contracts. Yes, the first year, this year coming says 0, but the second year has numbers in it.
Okay, so
Same
let's,
numbers as before, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it would have been, if you had looked at it, it would have been 4% less, more, and it's not. It's less than, so I had it in the goals that we have achieved and the goals that are still being played out.
so you're going to give us copies of those?
You have them,
I do.
yep.
And so we have to sign these at...
No, well, you can't, it's discussion only, but.
No, I'm just asking, but as far as these need to be signed...
Yes.
Next, basically...
Before July 1.
Well, all right, it's not, the May date doesn't matter.
No, it's just as long as it's before July 1. Even then, I wouldn't send in the paperwork. It's not.
All right.
But then it gets, I don't know what happens after that, but it's not like I make a mistake or Terry would make a mistake. It's not. It's just that if you agree to them, then I'll send them up to David to look at them so that he sees that nothing else has changed. If you don't, then,
So we just put between now and the next meeting? And
yeah,
the next meeting.
you email me or if you want to meet and talk about it. It'll be on the agenda as long as it's not the county one. Like I said, if we have all of June, it just,
Okay. Well, like I said, I looked at May and just went, oh crap, we're
Yeah.
almost there already.
well, when you think about it, I mean, you guys meet like every 2 to 3 weeks, so it's, things have stagnated out. That's why I also printed out and gave you a copy of the thing on applying for the funds for the American Rescue Plan. However, it costs money to talk to engineers because they.
Well, sometimes they'll talk freely if they think they'll get the work out of it if they
Right.
can find.
Yeah, I mean, most of them all design plants, so they all have something that's done and they know the back of their hand. They know what they're treating for and what they're doing.
How many guys are out this week, Wayne?
So I've got 2 out, so it was me and Kenny today.
For the whole week?
I didn't look, I don't think so, I think, I know Randy will be out all week.
Enough to go out and do that flushing and
Yeah.
track stuff down.
Yep, I'll go get it done.
Let people in the neighborhood know.
Yeah, yeah, I went up and talked to her today, and I, we'll put up the signs and we'll post something so they know something's going on.
What do you say, tomorrow you gonna try that?
Yep. That's right, we're gonna do.
Let it rip. There is no hydrant up at the front of the road there,
No, so if we get time this summer, we'll cut one in, because it looks like it's close to that island.
huh?
So it should,
Just put a hydrant in the island?
right. I just have to, I'm not sure where Brockton stopped paving when they paved, so I don't want to cut it up and.
We think that would help.
Anybody got anything else that can legally be brought up, discussed?
No, I think we're good.
Next meeting is Monday, May 3rd.
May 1st?
Third.
Good. I've done this thing on mask.
I know.
With a mask and my hearing aids.
Well, we can do away with masks, but I don't know if that's a good idea.
Outside. Should be.
You know what, Sally and I were just discussing the other day, all winter long, you didn't see the kids colds, and they didn't have
No,
the
No.
flu.
They were
didn't
wearing
have-
these and they were.
everybody washed their hands diligently.
You know, the kids are usually, everybody's passing germs around, and everybody's sick, but everybody was worried about COVID, but they didn't get anything else.
No,
Mhm.
It's weird.
The kids
I think
pass
the mask
everything,
works.
the kids pass everything around at school though, and they weren't in school.
right.
Yeah.
So that's another thing, that you don't have the kids running around the way they normally would have been.
My kids just back full time last week.
All right, so, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.